This episode is brought to you by CarterComics.com. It's your one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. Carter Comics has got it all. All you gotta do is go to CarterComics.com, fill your card up with all their amazing comics. Use the discount code FREAKNET, FREAKNET. Save you 10% at checkout. Not only on their website, but also at their eBay account. And the link to eBay can be found on their homepage at CarterComics.com. Again, CarterComics.com is your one-stop shop for all comic needs. What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome back to another episode of This Freakin' Show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. And we're really going to dive hard into that whole lot of nothing thing because for some reason, I have been, I don't know, god dang, it's I can't even talk right now. So I woke up this morning knowing that, okay, I got This Freaking Show at 8 o'clock. I got Just Freaking Wrestling like right after. And this is the first time, and I don't know how long, that I didn't like search for topics to talk about before we came on. Like I woke up, I set my alarm for 7:30. I went to bed super late last night. I don't know why. I just couldn't sleep. And I woke up this morning. I was like, okay, I'll set my alarm for 7:30. We'll do the thing at 8 and blah, blah, blah. And not one article, not one topic, not one thing. I'm just like this. This is how legends are made right now.
Just how what are made?
Legends like this.
Oh, legends.
This is what gets the downloads. Is just
it's picking a thing and talking about it.
And the thing is too is like I know there's a lot going on, but it's like it's stuff that and the thing is like it's stuff that we can talk about if I took the moment to actually look it up and read it. But it's not even like This Freaking Show. It's actually JFW too, because we're going to be predicting winners for a pay-per-view that's coming up on Sunday. And I don't have the predictions from anybody yet. So I have no information for either of the two podcasts I got to record today. So that's where I'm at.
Nice.
How you doing, Joe?
Nice. I'm all right. I just realized I forgot to take my medicine this morning. That's fine. I'll take it later.
You know, when women do that, they get pregnant.
Yeah, that's not a problem for me.
That's birth control joke. I don't care what anyone says. If you're hanging out with somebody and their phone magically or randomly chimes or beeps, that's their birth control time. Can't explain it.
Sounds about right.
It's at least that is the knowledge I have accumulated over a 4-year span of junior year to 2 years after high school.
Yep.
Yeah. So not a large test group, but at least in the Midwest, I think that's the norm. So anyone out there who wants to disagree, please do. It's okay. I could be wrong. It could just be like, oh, this is just the time I want to leave hanging out with you. Who knows? But I'm pretty confident like 90% of the time when they're like, oh shit, turn that off, go into their fucking purse, pulls out a pill, takes it, drinks it. I'm pretty sure it's birth control. Which good for them.
Yeah.
Joe, you sent me some pictures of some remodeling, man.
Yeah, we're making some huge progress at the church finally, and I'm really pumped about it. Matter of fact, this afternoon after I leave here, one of the things we're doing is going down to a furniture liquidator. Like they get furniture from hotels and then sell it. And we're going to look at furniture to fill that space up with, we want to get a couple of seating spaces and maybe some rugs. So I'm thinking like 2 sofas, 8 chairs, 2 big area rugs, and a couple coffee tables.
Now this is on the back half of the...
Yeah, I really even probably the back quarter.
What is it called? It's not monastery.
Sanctuary.
Was it sanctuary? Yeah. All right, cool. Is there dividers to it, or like would you be able to see this whole backside when you're up there doing your service?
I'd probably be able to see it.
Okay. Yeah. Dividers would be a pretty cool thing to do. if you wanted to separate the spaces for some reason.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think though, I want people to be able to, and this is like way down the road because we're not there yet. But I like the idea of like, say you're a parent and you can't keep your kids sitting still in the seats with you and whatever. Maybe you can go sit back on the couch and you can still, be part of the worship service, and your kids can kind of play in that area because it's almost like a little living room.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's awesome too because for people not knowing your church, and for me, I never been to a true service, but I've been to your church a few times for either like events you guys did, like I don't know what you called it, but you guys had like a bonfire. I don't know if it was like a marshmallow roast or a s'more thing.
Just a s'mores night. Yeah.
S'mores night. Niece's baptism and stuff like that. You guys have a very traditional church in the sense of like you guys still play the organ, you still have hymns, that aspect of it. But it seems like you're retaining the traditional aspect of the church, but incorporating more contemporary ways of doing it. You're pulling out the pews and everything. You're going to have individual seating, and then you're going to open up the back to where it has more comfortable, like areas and stuff to kind of like relax and if needed and stuff, which I think is cool. It brings the two concepts together.
Yeah, that's the needle that I'm trying to thread, and I do, I am open to the possibility of doing more contemporary stuff, but I need to find somebody who can play a guitar and sing at the same time.
Yeah,
and wants to do that for like free or $50 a month or something.
Well, my character inside my Grand Theft Auto roleplay plays guitar, so
nice.
I thought. As a side note, because I do want to talk about this a little bit more, but as a side note, when I was playing my character over the weekend, last weekend, and stuff, I was working the pub and everything, and I was bored. Nobody was coming in, so I was running through emotes and stuff on like what different things your character could do, while just stand there or whatever. And it came across guitar and all that stuff, so he strummed the guitar, and I went onto YouTube and I just started googling like acoustics songs and stuff. And I didn't realize I accidentally had my microphone on and stuff, and I brought up I think it was Hallelujah.
Nice.
I think it was Hallelujah, acoustic Hallelujah karaoke. So it was just playing the song as I was sitting there, and these people ran in from outside and like, oh, we thought we heard music, and I was like, oh crap, sorry, my bad. So then I just started doing it more and more, and it just kind of added more depth to my character. But yeah, I do.
That's awesome.
It's one of the things too where I get why people like the traditional aspect of it. I get like people like organs and hymns. Ashley, who talks to me more and more about church every day, she says that she prefers the traditional way of churches with the hymns and organ stuff, and that's because she grew up going to Catholic church with her grandma on her dad's side, and that it gives her a comfort and stuff.
That's part of why I like the traditional. I can't. Yeah. I grew up Catholic, and I know a lot of the hymns by heart because I grew up singing them.
Yeah, and I do like them both because when I was growing up, I was trying to find a church I wanted to go to, and obviously I was going with the Mansons more than anything. But the Emmanuel Church here in Peatone was traditional hymns, organs, and everything and stuff. So I don't know, probably for like maybe 2 years or something, 2-3 years, that was the church I was known. And then Derek's parents were trying different churches and trying to, find one that really suits them. And I was doing that with them, and a lot of them were the more contemporary churches, guitars and drums and stuff like that. And that I just love that so much because I am a huge rock fan, and it's Christian rock, and so the church I found, the Christ Community Church here in Peatone, they have that contemporary feel, and that's what I like decided. Like this is what makes me feel good. Like this is that warm, tingly, like welcome feeling that I get is this music. if you were to ever do something like that, I would even experiment on the possibility of, like, if you were to do church on 2 different nights, have traditional on Sunday, maybe the contemporary on Monday, or even
That's what
like
I'm thinking.
Sunday evening, because that way, because the people who don't like one way or the other can still get that kind of like feel from it. It's just now you gotta, because you don't want to do 2 different services, you want to preach the same thing. Now I just got to
Right.
find, okay, if this song goes with what I'm doing here, how do I find a song that correlates with the same feel?
Yeah.
So it'd definitely be a little more work, but the physical progress is fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, I mean, my what do I want to say? So I've done the math on it, and one of the things that I figured out is, like, we don't need to be a big congregation to function forever.
Mhm.
Our budget is about and this includes the preschool that we have, but our budget's about $100,000 or $200,000 a year,
Yeah.
and our preschool brings in about half, but also costs about half. So we're only on the hook for like 100,000, maybe 150,000 if we're being really generous and careful and stuff, right? And so what I have done the math on is, if I could get 50 people who on average give $50 dollars a week, then, and I'm doing the math again right now just to be safe. That would raise us $130,000, and that would cover our budget deficit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so, like, say you're just if you're a family of 4 and 2 people are kids, that might be a big burden for a family of 4 with 2 kids to give $200 a week. Maybe that's not possible, but maybe there's a single person in the congregation who's older, who is wealthy, who maybe they could pick up the slack on that, right? Is kind of the thinking that I have. But yeah, so I mean, if I had another service during the week, that opens up more people who could come in, and maybe there'd be more people who would give and help us continue to function.
Yeah.
So yeah, and maybe they would never show up on a Sunday morning, and maybe Wednesday nights are free, or Thursday nights, or Friday nights, or whatever. Be a hell of a thing to go to church on a Friday night. I'd be very impressed with somebody who decided to do that.
Oh geez, aren't there like certain people who like almost are at church like 4 times a week?
There are tons of people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, that I've never had a commitment like that. Like that is impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, technically I do, because I'm there every day, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
It's my job.
Well, I guess my point doesn't matter then, Joe. Jesus. Now, yeah, it's doable because the way you're doing everything and the progressions you're trying to make to put together more events and more community events, I think is huge.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and again, I don't like, I it might be dumb to utilize a fake world in reference to what we're talking about, but again, in the Grand Theft Auto role play that I do, work in the bar I work at a first responders Irish pub, which
Nice.
when people hear that, they think like, oh, it's a cop bar. It's not for the community and stuff. Well, when I started working it and I started advertising on like social media and stuff in the community, I made sure I put on there, probably serving the community and first responders and stuff. And I don't want to take credit for it, but we started getting more people coming in. And I think it had to do a little bit with that. But I think that's what, especially in reality, in the real world here, what people are kind of missing a little bit. It's like when churches do things, it's for church goers. It's for the 100% all in the Christ people. But instead, like, it's for people in the community who has questions, who have curiosity, who maybe want to check it out and see what it is. Like, it's for them too. And I think that's like, yeah, and I think that's what a lot of churches, especially when they're advertising stuff, is kind of missing, is to make sure people realize that it's like, hey, just because you're not a member of the church, just not because you're a, pardon the pun, religious goer, you don't go religiously. It's like we still welcome you in to kind of see what the church is about, see what we're doing here, not only for us but for the community, to make it fun or interesting or welcoming to all ages, from the elderly to the infants. Like, we want people to be able to come in and say, hey, listen, this is our community. This is for us, and we're here for you as we hope you are for us, and I think a lot of churches do kind of miss that, because again, when you look at ads and flyers and promotions for things, it doesn't mention open to the community, all are welcome, and it's key points like that I think can really change somebody's mindset of, oh hey, yeah, let's go look at that kind of Bible study, or let's go see who that speaker is and stuff like that. It's not just limited to the people who show up every Sunday and contribute or tithe or whatever the word is. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, and it's unfortunate that I have to think about money at all, but that's just the reality. We've got,
you have to, yeah.
Our building's 80 years old, and it has a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. We're in a lot better shape than some other churches. Actually, that's one of the things that was cool to learn from we had brought in a consultant last year, and she was like, I've been to churches where the roof is caving in. And our roof is like, I think we got a new one 15 years ago. So like, we're in great shape compared to a lot of churches, but we want to keep it in that shape. We don't want it to fall into disrepair. And I think that's one of the pitches to the community that I need to figure out how to make is like, look, maybe you don't go here, but your kids do. A lot of your kids go to our preschool. If you want that preschool to continue to exist, the church needs to continue to exist. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. If you like having a church on the corner and don't want to see it torn down and replaced with something else, because that's who's buying churches these days, is developers. It's not really, it's not other churches for the most part.
Yeah.
Especially old churches like ours, yeah. And so it's just like look, I don't want to. I'm not threatening you guys. This isn't like a gun to your head or like a hostage situation by any means. But like, if you want a church to continue to be here and not something else, then like, we need help.
Yeah.
So we're figuring out how to do that. One of the things that's been suggested to us is to set up like another 501c3 that is just a fundraising board.
What's a 501? What?
501c3. It's a nonprofit. So the church is set up as a 501c3 also.
Yeah.
But we're a religious 501c3, whereas this other one would be not. It'd be a support 501c3. And so it would be like Friends of Sauganash Church and the School for Young Years or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so it's just I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing to think about, and finding people to be on that board and not have it be something that I'm doing all the time, because I don't really need another thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, did you ever think, and kind of, because again, I don't know what you can or can't do with churches. I don't know what you can or can't do for a community. But I know one of the things that we kind of talked about when I can't remember when the fuck did we talk about it? I think it was during the Republican convention, or maybe it was during the debate. It was during the Trump Biden debate. One of the things we talked about was cost of childcare and how ridiculous it is.
Oh,
it's
ridiculous.
Is it possible? And I don't know if you need to get you probably do need to get certain licenses and shit. I don't know how it all works, but to hire people to actually run a daycare that's affordable to the community out of the church.
Oh, that's basically what we're doing already.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome then. Okay.
Yeah, that's what our preschool is basically. It
Gotcha.
takes kids 2.5 to 5 years old. Mostly because we only have, I think we only have 2 or 3 employees at any given time, and so they don't want to have to deal with changing diapers if they can help it.
What about looking at somebody that would be their full-time job, or 2 people that's like their full-time? It's like we have daycare from this time to this time, Monday through Friday, for single moms who work, for families with both parents who go to jobs, who you need affordable daycare for children, like something like that. Like their job is just daycare. Like, is that possible? I guess.
Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, we are technically registered as a daycare, not a preschool.
Okay. So, I mean, I think, because like I said, like I don't know what the average cost of daycare in that area is, but I'm sure there could be a way to be competitive with it that would help out, not companies, families who will struggle for paying the thousands of dollars a week that they would have to put maybe 2 or 3 children into a daycare. I say, I mean, you don't want to give the service away because, like anything, money unfortunately does make the world go round. You need it to thrive and all that stuff, but to make it a competitive, hey, listen, like we understand that daycare is a struggle. We understand the cost of it, but this is what we're offering, and we're willing. The price isn't going to skyrocket at any point and everything. It's affordable for the community. It's affordable for the people in the community. And in a sense, and I don't know if it'd be manipulative in a kind of way. I'm sure negative people can look at it that way, but hey, if you're coming here for daycare, maybe you'll start coming here for church and stuff like that.
That's the idea. Yeah, that's one of the things I want to do with our preschool is to help it be more of a pipeline.
Yeah,
than it's been in the past. Yeah, for sure. And we are dramatically underpriced. We are charging for a month what most preschools and daycares are charging for a week.
Yeah, which is awesome. That's what people places should be like. It's.
Yeah, to some extent, I agree. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I said half. No, we're actually charging about a quarter. Yeah. If we were charging half, our money problems would probably go away.
Yeah. Well, and that and that's where and that's where like certain aspects of this world, like especially when it comes to like business and work and employment, it does kind of suck because as everyone is, as like the prices of cost of living and everything are gradually going up to being able to afford rent, mortgages. I mean, we're both homeowners. We know how mortgages work and how, this year, this is what your mortgage looks like, but all of a sudden next year, your property tax gets readjusted and goes up and like shit just happens. And now you need to make more money. And you're either having to find another job, which like in certain positions, like me or a couple people I know who are making X amount of money at a certain job, to leave there, go somewhere else to make the same amount of money, it's just not happening because you're starting over. You're getting entry level pay and stuff like that. But you need to make more money, and maybe you do get a raise, maybe you do get a bump in pay and everything. But the more you get paid, the more they need to charge in order to accommodate the more money that's being paid out. And now the prices of their stuff goes up. It's like a vicious cycle, and it's like if everyone wants to just like, I think, just take a quick pause and just say, hey, listen, everything is cut in half. I know it's unrealistic. It's a huge job. Let's say I'm making, to make round numbers, I make $100,000 a year, and I pay my mortgage on a $300,000 house.
Right.
Okay. If you cut my pay down to 50, cut everything down to half, so the mortgage is 150, the car payment goes down to 8, or whatever it is, and all this other shit. Fix the interest rates, because I know interest rates are arbitrary fucking numbers that people make up and everything just to make more fucking money. It's like there's no reason like, oh, I'm sorry, the economy. I'm sorry, the average mortgages are now 9%. Like that makes no fucking sense. You just made that number up because you want to make more money. It's like, it's doable. There's a possibility of actually succeeding. It's like if you just have to cut shit down. You have to, if the whole world was like, yes, pay me half, but the cost of everything needs to be dropped by half. So when I go and buy eggs, I'm buying eggs for $1 a dozen. I'm buying milk for 85 cents a gallon. I'm buying gas for, $1.15 a gallon. And then at that point, if I'm paying that shit, if my mortgage is $600 compared to $1,200 or $900 compared to $1,800, if my car payment is, $225 instead of 3 or instead of 500 and stuff, then I don't have to worry about making that much more money anymore because I don't have that much more money going out. It's a ridiculous, never going to happen in any lifetime ever. But that's the logic in it. It's like if greedy people were just like, okay, fine, we'll cut this down. This shit drops, but overall, everything else has to drop, then fine. I can live off $50,000 a year if, my mortgage was cut in half, my
Right.
car payment was cut
If
in half.
everything else was cheap.
If everything else was cheap, if health insurance wasn't this hidden fee fucking devil.
Yeah.
That and now I don't even realize, like, I don't know right now, and I'm terrified to fucking look into it. Like, I had like $900 in medical bills from from like this CPAP testing and CPAP machine and all this goofy shit. And all of a sudden, like 3 weeks later, I look at my health insurance app and it says like I owe like $525, and I was like, okay, so did they readjust my insurance and everything dropped, or did they just send $400 worth of medical bills to collections?
Right.
Like nothing is ever explained. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, come in and do this testing. Like, well, how much is it? Like, it's like, oh well,
Right.
it goes through your insurance, blah blah. Like, and that was one thing.
It's like I just got a bill for shoot, what was it? It was like $187. And I paid it.
Yeah.
And then after I paid it, I looked back at the app to be like, did I actually have to do this or not? And it said that they hadn't even submitted it to my insurance yet.
Yeah.
So like maybe I didn't have to pay it. And now are they even going to send it to the insurance, or is the insurance going to be like, sweet, we just made $187 because we didn't have to pay it to you?
Yeah, it's stupid. I heard an interview earlier this week. It was Trump had an interview with Theo Vaughn. I think I've talked about Theo Vaughn before. I'm sure you heard about who Theo Vaughn is. They were talking about some program that was being put in place years ago. I'm not quite sure where it's at or what happened with it. As far as I know, it hasn't gone into effect. But there was like this program related to healthcare where they had to post the cost of their services. Where like, and I think the example that was used was like, I think it was CT scans or something like that, where like you post it here so you can see like it's $2,000 here and $600 here, and you can kind of dictate and decide where you want to go based on the cost of everything and stuff. I don't know where that program landed. I don't know where it's at and everything, but that's the kind of program I wouldn't mind seeing be put into effect. Because if I was to walk into like an office here, like let's say down in Kankakee County, it says I need to do a sleep study. It's like, cool, it's $900 here. But if I go to like a Frankfurt where they say like, yeah, it's $250 here, then obviously I'm going to go where it's more affordable. I think anyone does the same thing when it comes to clothing, to haircuts, to gas, to buying food. It's just like, yeah, you want the better deal. So it's weird that that's not a common implemented already happening program.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. It did pass. It says here the final stage goes into effect on January 1st, 2024. So it should be in effect. I forget, maybe it was John Oliver who did a segment on it. Instead of I don't know what the act actually says. Yeah. Other than like, I know that people are supposed to, hospitals are supposed to post their costs, their pricing information. Yeah. From what I've heard, is that you can go to a hospital's website and you can find, it's like a .text document that has all their prices in it. But if you've ever dealt with a .text document, like there's no formatting. Yeah. Everything is like, there's no spaces between anything. So it'll be like, $1,200 x-ray, $300 cast, $400 splint or something like that. But they have it so obfuscated that even though they've technically met the requirements for the law, they make it impossible to find out any information, which is just bullshit.
They followed the law where it's posted, but it never necessarily didn't mean it has to be understanded.
Yeah, like exactly.
Like you just said, like you listed all that stuff, and all that shit could be in one fucking line. It's not. Yeah, it's like it's all there, but unless you actually like search every little thing or go through and say, okay, this is exactly what I need. But if you need two different things, and that one's on the middle of page 13, and the other part is on the middle of page 28, it's like unless you find it all. So yeah, it's garbage. Yeah. I hate, and that's why for years, like, I mean, I could be honest. Like, as soon as I had to start paying for my own medical shit because parents weren't doing it anymore, I stopped really wanting to go to the doctors and shit because it's like, and I don't
and the wild thing to me is like that it costs us so much more money in the long run because now people don't want to go get preventative care because preventative care is so expensive.
Yeah, and that
And it's
used to
just
be
like,
included.
yeah,
I mean, it's fucking nutty. Like, and even like in 2018, like I remember like I was looking at preventative coverage, like things that were covered by in my insurance that were then I'm talking about flu shots and like hepatitis. I don't need them. But like Hep C, HPV, all that shit. Annual physicals, all that shit's incorporated into preventative care. And now when you look at it, it's like that stuff can be covered, but it's not listed. So it's not like they don't even want you asking for it and shit. Like I didn't know that my annual physical was covered by my insurance until I had to ask because before where it was listed in like, my medical plan, all this shit, now it's not there anymore. So it's like, I don't want to go do an annual physical because I don't know how much that shit's going to fucking cost me. And, I eventually did it and I started doing blood work stuff. I was like, yeah, let's draw blood. Let's find out what's going on cholesterol wise and testosterone and all that other shit. And then, I get sent off. Well, they're going to send me to one place and found out that like that place is a couple $100 where their place was like a third of the cost. So I went to the third of the cost cheaper place.
Right. Yeah.
And I think eventually overall, all the blood work should cost me like $15. I was like, I'm great with that. I didn't know that because no one told me the cost of fucking anything, but at least it was only $15 and I wasn't getting, surprised with a bill for 150 fucking bucks. And that's why like, and that's the whole situation with that physical therapy in December when, when it was all said and done, I got a bill for, $2,000 that I knew nothing about that they didn't send to me until the very fucking end, not weekly, not after every single appointment saying, okay, this is what you owe for today. No, it was when it was all said and done. So it was like, thank God I stopped 2 weeks early and went back to work because that $2,000 bill would have been probably like $3,000. And all they did is hook like little shock pads to me and put a heating pad on my back. It's like, you're telling me for, for 40 minutes to 45 minutes, not even that, probably like 35 to 40 minutes twice a week where I just laid there and you stuck electric pads onto my back, something that I bought on Amazon, by the way, I can do myself now, put a heating pad on, which also I bought through Amazon, I can do myself now, and laid on a fucking bed for 25 minutes and then had me do lunges up and down, your room. That right there cost $400.
Yeah.
It's like that's it's
Absurd.
fucking criminal. It's fucking criminal.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you that shit because again, I look at it as like, oh, I have a copay. This is physical therapy. This should be covered and shit. That and
but then they have you sign the thing at the beginning of your visit, like, I understand that I'm responsible for any costs that the insurance doesn't pay. And I do wonder what would happen if you refused to pay that. I wonder if you said, no, my insurance is paying for this. If they would still treat you or not. Like, I honestly don't know.
I know. Well, hospitals, right? They have to treat you. They can't turn you away, right? I don't know if physical therapy would be like that. Like I think like I think if you went into a hospital from like a car accident and you needed like surgery or some shit like that, I know that they have to treat you with or without insurance.
Right.
I know that's the thing. I think when it comes to physical therapy, it'd probably be like if you can't sign this, then we can't do anything for you. Because I don't think it's life threatening at that point.
That's what I was wondering. Was like for non-life threatening things. I know because like Illinois has a No Surprises Act, but it's mostly for emergency out of network care.
Yeah. I know. Like, God, who was it? I forgot who the fuck it was, but like it was. I don't know if it was a comedian or whoever the fuck it was. Whoever they said like if you ever need to go to a hospital, it wasn't a comedian. It was actually somebody who was talking about like ways to get through life. Kind of shady, but to survive pretty much. Is never carry identification with you. Never have any sort of identification with you or any way of people knowing who you are. Because if you were to get in like an accident or an incident, something like that, they could take you into the hospital and everything. And they don't know who you are or whatever, like they don't know how to bill you. and if you
Right.
just leave, that's it. You know, it's like it's insane. But the fact that that's the way life is now is ridiculous, and it just shows that the medical industry or whoever the fuck controls all this stuff, the insurance, I don't know if it's the insurance companies or the hospitals or both of them working together or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Like it just sucks that that's how we have to live now. It's like I can't go into a doctor, or I could easily go into a doctor and do this shit and figure out what's going on and what the problem is, but do I want to get that bill at the end of the day, for $600 because they gave me an adjustment on my back that still hurts because it's going to until you do this a couple more fucking times. Like
Right.
I know my insurance covers 25 adjustments a year, which is
Wow.
fantastic. But what defines an adjustment? You
Right.
know, it's like I'm gonna walk into this chiropractor. It's like and I'm shopping chiropractors, and I think I found one I want to go check out. But if I walk in and say, "Yo, yeah, my insurance says it covers 25 adjustments, a year," it's like, well, what is that? Like, you're gonna like have me cross my arms, you're gonna stand behind me, lift me up, pop my back, and say, "Cool, see you, next time," or like, are you gonna lay me down, do all this other shit? It's like, hey, we could probably try doing like some kind of like nerve like therapy or blah 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 blah. Well, that's not covered by insurance, but
Right.
this is what's going to definitely help you. Like adjustments aren't going to help you, but this definitely will. It's like, cool. So now I got to decide about a useless visit 25 times that you're claiming will not help me,
Right.
or paying to do this that you say will help me. Nobody fucking knows, but will help me. And my insurance covers maybe fucking 40% of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dumb. I think the
Yeah.
only thing that
I think it's a combination of insurance companies being able to, for whatever reason, insurance companies can decide what care you can have, which is baffling to me. And it's combined with hospitals that aren't run for the good of the public anymore. They're run for the good of shareholders. They're owned by private equity firms like BlackRock or Vanguard or whatever. And as a result, like the hospital has no incentive to lower its costs because the vast majority of consumers are going to pay through their insurance, and the insurance has no incentive to lower its cost because they're not in competition with each other the way that they ought to be.
yeah.
So I really wish one of the big failures to me of like the Biden administration is, one of the things he promised was that he would love to see a public health care option where there'd be like public health insurance that would be a fraction of the cost of the private health insurance that we pay. But like they never sent him a bill. Even when the Dems owned the House, they never sent him a bill. And so it's just like, well, what are you gonna do?
Wasn't that Bernie's big thing when he was running? Or
Yeah,
was
his
that
was Medicare for all.
That's so yeah,
It's essentially
universal.
a public option. Medicare for all would be essentially a public option because it would give everybody the option to be on Medicare
I
instead
thought you,
of waiting till they're 65.
I thought you said public hospice, and I'm like, like,
No, public hospital. No, never mind.
yeah, no, yeah, well, because that's what Canada has, right? Like,
Yeah, public health care. Yeah.
yeah, it's basically free healthcare, isn't it?
Yep.
How does it like? Okay, so how does that really work? How do they have hospitals that are functioning, having everything they need to help people, but not make money? Like, what? How does that work?
Yeah. So basically, if I understand it correctly,
Yeah.
um, it works like a school, like a public school or like the military or whatever. The government has a line item that covers the cost of the salaries of the doctors who are doing the work.
Yeah.
They subsidize the cost of doing an X-ray or whatever, because like a lot of the stuff isn't fully free. It's just so much cheaper than ours that it's not. It's like a nominal fee. You know.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if you have to go in for like surgery, there's still going to be some kind of cost to it, but it's
Yeah,
not
there's
going to
still maybe
be.
like $200 or $300 or something, but
Gotcha.
it's not gonna make you lose your house.
Yeah. See, and it's weird too. And obviously, I've never had a situation where I had to like have large medical bills. I know like the closest people to me are like people who give birth.
Yeah,
Who've given birth to children and stuff like that. But like ambulance rides are thousands and thousands of dollars. Staying in a
yeah,
hotel room could get up to, or not a hotel room, a hospital room could be thousands and
I
thousands.
wish it were like a hotel room.
Right? Yeah. But it's like even those costs can be fucking ridiculous. Like I think like my insurance, like it doesn't cover a hospital. Like apparently it's cheaper just to drive yourself to the hospital than take an ambulance. You
Yep.
know, but like even hospital rooms, like I think my insurance covers like I think it says like 80% of hospital stays up to like a certain point. But it's like, I mean, some of those hospital rooms could be like $800 a night, you know, $1,000 a night and shit. And all it is if you're bedridden, you're paying $1,000 to sit in a bed and pee in a fucking bag.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and it's like if you want to be cleaned up, you got to get sponge baths, but that's an additional cost. It's not included in the stay. It's,
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah, and
I don't understand how we let this happen. And I would never advocate for violence. I really wouldn't. But there are two things that I can't help but constantly think about. And one is that 200 years ago, it was not uncommon for people to go to the houses of their representatives or governors or whatever and physically dismantle the house and throw it into a river. That's just an interesting fact that
it's like
I
an
heard it stuck
aggressive
in my
tea
head.
party.
Yeah, basically.
Very aggressive tea party.
And I think the other thing that I can't help but thinking about is that every single one of these CEOs that makes 400 times what their regular person makes and makes all these decisions to increase the wealth of the shareholders at the expense of public health has an address. It's just two things I think about, totally unrelated.
It's yeah, and
I would never do anything because I'm just not that kind of person.
Yeah, it just sucks that that's how we have to live our lives, is knowing that like we can get better, it just can't afford to do so, you know. Even though the options are there, it's available to us, but it's not affordable. It's not cost effective for me to go into I don't know who the fuck it, what's the spine doctor? I know
a chiropractor.
No, but like actual medical, like surgical,
the other one.
like
osteo.
I don't know.
Not the osteopath.
Orthopedic. I don't know. Anyways, a doctor who I would go into and say, listen, I'm having lower back, possibly spine issues, something's wrong with my back. To go in, get X-rays, figure out what's going on, get a diagnosis, get set up for if any any surgeries I have to get done and stuff. To be able to say, okay, this is what it is. Okay, cool. Yeah. How much is that going to cost? Well, we just got to see what your insurance is going to cover. Blah blah blah. Like, give me the fucking number. Like, if you give me the overall number and say, listen, if you want to be able to live the rest of your life without the back pain that you have had for the past years, to be able to get out of bed without your back hurting, to sit up without your back hurting, to be comfortable sitting there, this is the cost. And if I could take that cost, go to my insurance company and say, hey, listen, this is what they're telling me is going to cost me to fucking be healthy and to live a normal life.
Right. How much? And then I'll never have to come to you again for this thing.
Exactly. And this is what it's at. Can you tell me how much you're covering? And if I can see what that number is, I probably would still be like, I can't afford to fucking do that.
Yeah.
because this is the fucking world we live in, because people are more concerned about making a dollar than protecting the people in the world. And I get it, you know, like they had this whole mindset of like, well, you know, if you really want it, you'll really pay for it. And that's not how fucking it is. I shouldn't have to become financially burdened again with debt and everything after I just refinance to get out of it, to sit there like, cool, now instead of having, you know, $15,000 in credit card debt, now I got $10,000 in medical bills.
Right.
And either one's gonna fuck me in the end. Well, at least I can walk.
And you still got to pay the $15,000 in credit card. You're just paying it as a mortgage instead of as a credit card.
Exactly. You know, like,
which is great because the interest rate's what, like 7% instead of 25, but still.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting. Knock on wood, never happened. The interest rates would drop, but it fucking won't.
They are going to drop. They don't know by how much yet on September 19th, I believe.
Really? Okay.
It was just reported.
I do remember the people I went through for my refi did say like they're projected to drop in the fall, and I got pissed because once they said that, I was like, okay, let's move forward with this. And after it was all said and done, I talked to the same guy, like, yeah, now hopefully in the fall when this drops, I can refi, blah, blah. I was like, he's like, yeah, I mean, they're really fluctuating about that. I was like, God, I hope the guy didn't fucking lie to me. And he didn't. He told me the information that was provided at that time. He didn't lie to me in any way. He told me this is what they're saying now. And as soon as I got this done, this is what was happening. So I did not hear that they were dropping again. Hopefully they do. And if I can find a way to get back down to where I don't think I'd probably get back down to 4 like I was, but if I could, that'd be awesome. If not, I'm at, I don't know, 7 or whatever. It's fine. It is what it is. And I am still in a better position now than I was before. So I'm so happy with it.
Yeah, I think the market is figuring it's about a 63% chance of it being a 0.25% drop. So instead of being 7, it'd be 6 3/4.
Gotcha.
So like, is that enough of a difference? I don't know. And then like there's like a 27% or a 37% chance that it's 0.5%. So is 6.5% worth it to you versus and they won't make another decision for like another quarter. So they probably won't drop again until like January or February.
Yeah.
And it'll be another quarter or a half. It's not going to be a full percentage point.
See, and that's the only reason I like this time of year. It's like elections are coming up, and now they're going to start doing good things. Gas is fucking down to $3.78 over here. It's like this is every 4 years around August, September, October. This is fucking Christmas. Like now they're really pushing to like, hey, listen, this is what's great. And it doesn't matter if it's the red or the blue. It doesn't matter. It's just, they're all the same things. Like, okay, for the last 4 months, drop the price of this, drop the price of this, drop the price of this. Show people that we really deserve to be here for the next 4 years. So that's what I want. Do that for the fucking housing people.
Do it for all 4 years, and then maybe you won't have to work so hard, you jagoffs.
Right. God, did you have you did you not have you, but did you go to DNC while I was in town?
I didn't go. I watched a lot of it on YouTube.
My buddy Pat, who comes on here from time to time and stuff like that. He went. I don't know what day he went, and the only thing he sent me. So the only thing from the DNC I knew did happen or has happened or whatever. Well, actually, there was 2 things. One was a clip on Instagram, which is goofy, but the one thing I know of for sure is Kamala Harris's husband said my wife like Borat. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I saw out of the entire DNC was him on stage going, my wife. And I'm like, solid, clutch. The other thing was I think Oprah was on stage and she was talking about like single female cat owners. And like as she took a pause, the camera like zoomed over to like some random girl. And then
yes. Yeah, it was when Oprah was talking because she was talking about cat ladies, childless cat ladies. Did you hear about what happened with that?
No, I did. I just saw that clip and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I didn't know who that was or even what the topic was. Like I don't know why childless cat ladies were even being discussed, but it was just random.
So they were being discussed because JD Vance talked about like, if you want to be a childless cat lady, I guess vote for the Democrats or whatever. And everyone was like, you dick, just whatever. He's just being a dick. And then Oprah referenced it in her speech, and then the camera panned over to that lady. Well, I was watching Jon Stewart's segment on the Daily Show, and it actually according to Stewart, I didn't follow up or double check it, so that's on me if I'm wrong. But actually, it's on him if he's wrong. But I'm repeating the lie if it's a lie. Anyway, apparently CNN or C-SPAN or whatever interviewed that lady afterwards. And it actually turns out she is childless and has 2 cats.
I did not know that. Oh, that's what.
Oh God! When Stewart said that on the Daily Show, I was like, I'm just dying. That's so funny. It's awesome. Like that Key and Peele sketch where it's like, it doesn't matter if you're white or black or male or female or straight or gay, and it's like cutting to all the things, and on gay it cuts to Peele's character.
Yeah, he's like
trying to move around because he's like, I'm not gay.
Oh God, yeah. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to look up any of the DNCs. This week has been really weird, and I took yesterday off of work just because I got a week's worth of vacation time. I still got to use.
Yeah, you can't take it with you.
Yeah, so I just randomly started taking like Fridays off and shit. And yesterday was a Friday off, and I still kind of looked at my emails from time to time because I had this fear of my shit not being taken care of when I'm not there. It looks
Yeah.
like everyone did their job. Or at least helped
Good.
out. I'm not quite sure. I still got to look through it, but Friday kind of escaped me like the entire day. I don't know where the hell it went, but I spent most of the time watching. Well, my freaking thinking I watched, and I'll talk about that towards the end. But um, yeah, I knew the DNC was in town. I knew it was like what Sunday to Wednesday or Monday to Wednesday, whatever the hell it was. And I was like, that's one of the things I kind of wanted to look up and talk about, like we did with the what's the Republican one?
RNC.
RNC, yeah, I guess. And I just completely spaced on it. It's like like I said, like last night when I was laying in bed, I was like, I did not do one thing to prepare for either one of my podcasts.
Yeah.
But it's just like I, I spent more time looking up Iowa's cemetery vlogs for next year than I did looking up the show that's happening 2 days from now, which was today. Like I'm seeing, like I'm looking in Council Bluffs for hotels and restaurants because that's going to be our stop. Than I did about like the show that's coming out in 2 days. Like I like, which by the way, I think I already mapped out Iowa's. So yeah, so I got next year already set up, and we could get it done in one day, believe it or not. So.
Awesome.
Actually, I'm sorry, 2 days, like Michigan. Which, by the way, we're within 9 days of our Michigan trip.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait.
I did not realize how close it was. I'm sitting here thinking like, man, God, I can't wait to be on vacation in 2 weeks. Oh shit, we're gonna be in Michigan. Solid. So, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at the DNC stuff, and that's something we could probably talk about maybe next week.
Yeah, I mean, I watched. I probably watched 2/3 of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I made it. I think I watched everything the first night, almost everything. No, it was everything the first night. I watched up to Pritzker the second night. The third night, I think I watched. I think I stopped before the second gentleman spoke. No, but I went back and watched Walz's.
Okay.
So I think on the third night I was just like, if there was somebody I wasn't interested in, I skipped it.
Okay. I think there was I think I saw something on Walls's. Again, it was on Instagram, so it could have been like an editing. Like, but did he come out for like some goofy dance?
I don't
some
remember.
weird. It might have been just
there was Chuck Schumer did like a weird.
Maybe it was
thing
Schumer's.
And walked. Yeah, I saw it as the caption was when I got a poop for the first time on vacation.
Well, I'll yeah. So I'll look at it. I think Peacock.
Yeah, I never watched Harris's speech. Yeah.
I'm curious
it's an
on
hour. I don't know if I can go back and watch it.
I'm curious on Harris's just because I keep hearing that she's very limited on her appearances and stuff lately. Like she's not doing as many as she should be. So I am curious to hear about hers and stuff. Because the one thing I keep hearing, and this is obviously a right-wing opinion and stuff, is that she keeps saying that she's going to do this, she's going to do this, she's going to do this, instead of why isn't she doing it because she's already in there. And I get that as VP, she has some power, but I know she doesn't have total power like everything else. Right. So I can't follow that mindset of like, well, you keep saying you're going to do it. Why don't you just do it while you're there? It's like, I don't know the exact poll or
there are a lot of far left people saying the same thing. I think anybody in the kind of broad middle I just don't understand either. I'm with you. I'm like, she's the vice president. You know what the vice presidency has always been described as is not being worth a warm bucket of spit. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, like I want to say Thomas Jefferson said that when he was the vice president. You know, like every vice president has been like, this job is useless. I think Harris might be the most involved vice president maybe of all time because of the fact that she actually had to make tie-breaking votes so frequently in the Senate. But for the most part, vice presidents, like, they get a house and a stipend and their job is to not die so that when the president, should the president be unable to serve, they can step in and do so.
Well, and that's the weird thing too. It's like you think that would be the second most important job in government because you're the backup. Like you for 4 years you are on deck. Like you're the person next up to bat when that person falls.
Well, and especially since historically the person who is the vice president runs for office after the president serves as historically his for 2 terms.
Oh yeah, fucking. By the way, Pac-Man commented on something that we talked about on our last show. We were talking about. I think it was exactly that. I think it was like the vice president taking over or whatever following the. And he said like, oh, it was during. I don't even know what the fuck it is. I can easily look it up. I don't even listen to him when I'm on the show with him. Yeah. But he's like, oh yeah, this was passed in this bill, and fucking 18 blah, blah, like, who gives a fuck? I was like, hey, you know what? Thanks for listening. But I don't remember it. It's like you can't tell me shit now. You got fucking when I get closer to actually bringing it up. But Pac-Man, he does listen to the show. He does listen to what we talk about, and he smart fucking dude, awesome dude. I joke with
Nice.
him a lot. Cool fucking guy. If we do talk about the DC next week, which I kind of want to, DNC next week, maybe I'll have him on and everything. He went, so get maybe a first-hand opinion on a person who was actually there. Or maybe he just took a video clip of TV because he's a goofy fuck. I don't fucking know. But
yeah, I was looking. I saw he showed up in our notifications, and I didn't go look at it. And so I went to go look at it, and I saw that there was a video or something where it said actions greater than words. I don't know if it's the same thing.
What are you talking about?
Just now on Facebook, I was going to look because he had been in our notifications on Facebook.
Who, Pat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could have been. I don't know if it was on Messenger or some goofy shit.
Gotcha. I don't know either. I just know there's in our notifications he showed up. But anyway, the reason I was just making a face and saying was because I clicked on one of the notifications and it took me to a video that started playing. And it was louder than you, so
it was probably it didn't come through on my end, but was it a teaser for his video or his movie or something?
Probably.
It might have been. I don't know. Let's see real quick before we call it a day. Let's see if I could fuck with him and get him on the phone.
But yeah, I think overall it was a fine DNC. The first couple of nights were a lot better.
Hold on a second. I want to see if he answers. If not, I want to hear this stupid ass voicemail. He has such like a professional child's voicemail. It's fantastic. You better answer, bro. I think he probably knows we're recording too.
Thank you so much for your call. You've reached Pat Ackerman. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Hey, you goofy ass. I'm gonna leave a voicemail. Me and Joe are recording the show right now, and we were talking about how you gave an answer on something we talked about on our last show about vice presidents or some bullshit. I was gonna try calling you, put you on the show with us, but I guess you're better than me. So fuck yourself. Bye. God, perfect.
That's funny.
We'll talk about DNC next week.
Yeah, I'm in. That sounds good.
Yeah, we are getting close to was it I think the first official debate is beginning of October. I think that what they confirmed, at least
10th.
one of them. September 10th. Okay, awesome. So a week after anyways, 3 weeks or whatever. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I think it's one of three that were offered up. I don't know if they'll do the other.
I think there's 2 presidential and 1 vice presidential.
I'm curious on the vice president. I think I'm probably more curious on the VP one than I am on the presidential one.
Same. I think the presidential one's just going to be, I don't know. It's going to be either Trump being weird and her being like, just a strong, sassy woman or whatever. Or it's going to be just them yelling at each other.
My prediction for the presidential one will be Trump bashing her for everything she hasn't done that she should have done, in his opinion.
Yeah.
And her being asked, like, how would you fix the economy? And her saying the economy's in a really tough place and we're going to work hard to get it fixed.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
That's what it is. Like, because like I said, and the biggest thing, and I've seen it in the last 8 years, especially with fucking Donnie being up there, is pointing out the negatives of the other instead of the positives of yourself. That's what debates and shit have been for. Bush and fucking Obama didn't do it, and who was 2012?
Obama and Romney.
Yeah, and I don't think they did that to each other either. But once 2016 hit, like, let's focus on how bad they are instead of focus on how good they are. And I think that's what the presidential debate is going to be, is Trump's going to point negatives at Harris, and I think Harris is going to be like, we really do need to fix this. Awesome House, like, we will. The VPs, I think, however, is I think you got like a true Midwest guy and a guy who's supposed to be a Midwest guy gonna fucking be aggressive as fuck towards each other. It's gonna be like it's gonna be two Midwest neighbors just fucking cursing each other out about their property line. Like that's
100%.
That's what I think is gonna happen. And
my only what I wish would happen is that they had to both build their podium on camera before they could begin the debate.
Right? God, could you imagine they put like wheels on it so you can soapbox derby it afterwards?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I don't give a shit how you're gonna fix my comedy. I want to see how the brakes work when you get to the end of the fucking hill. Show me that.
Yeah.
Oh man, and they're not in the same night. No, they don't do it the same night. Presidential and vice presidential.
No, it'll be. I think the vice presidential debate is at the end of beginning of October.
Okay, solid. Cool. Yeah. So next week we'll do DNC. You know what? Next week we'll try doing the show without cussing because I know it said we're gonna do it on this one, but I know I cussed at least a couple times here.
Yeah, I have no idea if I did. I lost track.
Yeah, it just happens. You know, it really does. But Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
I am freaking thinking about. Honestly, this renovation, man, it's making me so happy. I'm just really thrilled. I'm thinking about that, and then I also actually not to plug too early for my other show, but we had a really fun little interview this week where on Geekcast Live, which you can find usually it's Saturdays. Lately, it's been Sundays. Over at violentpress.com. Also Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter. Just search Geekcast Live. But we had our good friend Simon Filler, who he lives over in the UK. He was nice enough to stay up till like 3 a.m. his time to be on our show. But he actually gets paid sometimes to go to conventions and teach world building for like novels or role-playing games or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
And so he came on and taught us his process. And it was we had a good time. So
was it related to the game you guys were building on your anniversary show, or completely different?
Completely different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
awesome.
we should have done it on the related to the anniversary show. We are fools and charlatans for not doing so. But
did you ask him why they shit in the streets?
No, I completely forgot about that. Sorry.
Gotcha. Nah, sorry. I've been really contemplating on making that shirt. I just don't think it'd be like appropriate or not. But it's just like it's like England, we still shit in the streets. But you know, I know it's not true. I know people out there think I'm dumb for thinking it's true. It's not. It's a running joke that it's just funny to me. Just I don't know. Which I think it actually started out with San Francisco. I think it started out with California. And somehow it ended up with being England or something. But
yeah.
It's one of the few running jokes I have on our podcast. So
yeah, you should see if you can find that girl and little Travis on Facebook.
Right? What was her name? Like Raven or something like that? I don't
remember.
I'm sure. Like I know. I tag our shows as lies and stuff. It'd be interesting. I just gotta. What was her kid's name? Like Jonathan, Michael, Andrew, David.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like named after every man in her family.
Right. Yeah. She just went to the Bible and just started picking the best chapters and books and stuff.
Right.
God, perfect. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for your church renovations too, and I look forward to hearing about the world building because that does sound intriguing.
Mm-hmm. So, but what are you freaking thinking about?
So I started rewatching the Office on Peacock because it's one of my favorite shows, and because there's an apparent reboot of the show coming out. It's similar, but not. I guess not really. It's based in Chicago at a newspaper company or something like that.
Oh.
Apparently, but instead of watching the original and the normal ones, I'm actually watching the fan editions.
Nice.
I think it's like the super fan editions, whatever the hell they call them, which adds like 12 to 15 minutes of additional content per episode.
Dang.
And I've loved it because I can sit there and watch like the original 21 minutes that I'm used to, that I know of. But the fact that now these episodes are 34 to 38 minutes long, and it has like there's scenes that not only add to current scenes that are already there, but completely separate and completely new portions of the show. It's almost like watching brand new episodes, but you kind of know what's going on still. Like, I mean, I know how The Office ends, and it's still weird. Even now, like when I watch these episodes, I'm like, fuck, I'm only halfway through season 2, and I could have sworn like this storyline dragged on longer than it actually was, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's been exciting. It's been cool that I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that they're available, and yeah, I've been pretty much binging that religiously for like the last couple weeks and everything. And I started watching House. I put that on pause. I started watching oh god, I can't remember the USA show with the doctor that's in the Hamptons or somebody. Royal Pains. I started watching that. That's on hold. I got like 3 different TV shows. Modern Family. I started rewatching. Everything went on hold for this Office Superfan show, and I'm doing good. I started what. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Scott Peterson. Oh man, I totally forgot.
Oh yeah, there was a documentary on Netflix that just dropped, wasn't there?
True. There's a Peacock one,
Really?
and there's a Peacock one and a Netflix one. I started watching.
Jeez. Did that just get unsealed or something, and so people are
I
talking
think
about
so.
it?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he's because he's still claiming his innocence.
Ah,
There's the Innocence Project is now working on getting him out. And
fascinating.
I haven't looked into the Netflix one. The Peacock one is actual interviews with him. Like they're running through what happened, and they're incorporating him in it. Like they're actually doing the interviews with him and talking with him. I got through there's 3 episodes of that. I got through the first episode where they're talking about, from the beginning of how they got together to her going missing. So I got through that portion of it, and he was talking about like, it's weird because they get to the point where it's like, oh yeah, she's the love of my life, she's my everything. We're gonna be a family and blah blah. And all of a sudden they start talking about his secret girlfriend that he was seeing. And he's like, oh, of course I regret it. I wish I never did. It's like, well, of course you're gonna say you feel bad about it. You got fucking caught, bro. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Do
yeah.
you
So
feel
there,
bad about it, or do you feel bad about being caught?
yeah. So it's weird because like yeah. So I saw that popped up, and I love like documentaries like that and everything. I just got done actually a couple weeks ago. I watched the it's called like the TikTok murder or something like that. It was
Huh.
like some guy, some dude who got real famous for like mimicking Tony Montana from Scarface and shit, ended up killing his wife and this guy that she apparently started having a relationship with, or I'm sorry, his girlfriend. They weren't married. Killed his girlfriend, the mother of his child, and this guy that she was friends with. That there's speculation that she had a relationship with because like this. So this dude apparently was. It's gonna fucking roll into like a longer episode, but real quick. So this dude met this girl. They got together. He became real social media famous. Because of that, she got real social media famous. Behind closed doors, he was apparently abusive, doing cocaine and all this shit. So, and they had a child together. So she left him, went back to the place when, because he moved out of the house. She moved out. He left, went to the hotel and said, you can have the house back, you get the place back. She went back to grab some shit. Well, he broke in, destroyed the fucking house, put a recording tracker onto his kid's tablet underneath the couch. As soon as she went back into the apartment, he heard that she was there, went back to the apartment, shot her, shot the guy, and all this other shit. And he was pleading insanity, which obviously with all this stuff, it was premeditated. And it's also on Peacock. Peacock has some pretty good fucking documentaries and stuff. But yeah, I just those documentaries interest me. So I started watching the Peterson one, but again, everything went on hold because of The Office. So I'm gonna watch the rest of it. But I wanted to talk about Peterson because I keep confusing Scott Peterson with Drew Peterson, and
Oh,
I kind of want to talk about Scott Peterson, and I want to talk about the documentaries and everything, so we can kind of see did he do it or didn't he do it. As of right now, I'm saying he fucking did it. That I mean, but maybe we'll do that in a couple weeks. Maybe if we both watch, the documentaries and stuff like that. And I don't know. Do you have Netflix?
I have Netflix. I don't have Peacock.
Let's do this. I'll watch the Peacock documentary. You watch the Netflix documentary, and we'll compare notes. We'll see if he did it or
Nice.
not.
Sounds good.
But for right now, yeah, what I'm freaking thinking about is the super fan episodes of The Office. They're fantastic, and I look forward to watching the rest of them. I'm only like halfway through season 4 right now, so I think they did like 7 or 9 seasons. But yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Well, Joe, I mean, you already plugged Geekcast Live, but do it again real quick. Fuck it.
Yeah. If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Excellent. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, just by searching This Freaking Show. You can listen to us wherever you pick up your podcast at, whether it be iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, just search This Freaking Show. If you want to watch our podcast, you can do so over at the FreakNet Studios YouTube channel. That is where you can also pick up our cemetery vlogs that we have done over the past few years. And, of course, the Michigan ones are coming up this October as This Freaking Show kicks off once again here on This Freaking Show. And if you have any short stories, scary short stories you want the Freak Joe to read when he is back here in October, send us those and we'll look them up. So I think it'll be 5 this year. So
yeah, nice.
Of course, well, 4 because technically we always end with the Telltale Heart. So
That's
or
true.
the Raven. It's the Raven or Telltale.
It's usually the Raven, I think.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, it's always
I like
Poe.
doing them both.
God, they're so good. Fucking God, they crush it. I got on Poe. Guys, that's all I got. As always, I am Travis C.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freaking Show. I'm out.